Welcome back to the channel. On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how I installed the window into the side of the van. Unfortunately, the window only lasted 4 days before it slid off the side of the van and smashed to smithereens. The reason for that was because I used ecover. And what happened was the ecover reacted with the primer and caused the primer not to stick to the window. I thought that using a cleaner would be okay because the wipes that come with the kit I thought would have cleaned off the ecover or whatever other cleaner you would have used. But obviously that wasn't the case because the window fell out and smashed onto the ground. I've just arrived back from being away for the weekend and I fitted the window on Thursday to the side of the van, and it's now Sunday. And when I arrived back, I went to take something out of the van. I closed the door. Didn't slam the van, just closed the door, and then 2 seconds later the window came flying off the side of the van and is now on the floor, is on the ground, smashed to pieces. So I'll just show you now what I mean. There's the window. There's the window all over the side with the van on the floor, and there's the van. And you could clearly see along the bonding that was on the window, you could see the primer because it was a flaky substance that was all stuck onto the outside of the bonding, and that had literally come off the window, stuck onto the bonding on the van, and then the window slid off the van. So it was a costly mistake, cost me a lot of time and it cost me a lot of money. So I'm hoping that this episode will help you not to make the same mistake and you'll have a better install than I did. I've now refitted the window and the window is still in today after 2 months, so I've had no issues. I didn't use ecover the second time. Unfortunately, I did the first time, and that's the way it goes. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell and you will be notified for future videos in the van build series. Thanks a million. Enjoy the episode. It's the morning after, and yesterday I cut the hole in the side of the van to install the window, but unfortunately the weather got the better of us yesterday. It was pissing rain last night, so I couldn't actually install the window. The next step is to drill holes all along the edge, and what I'm going to use for that is a 6mm drill bit. Finished with drilling on the inside. So what I've done so far is I've cut these supports that are holding in this panel here. So I've cut them here and here, here and here, and then what I've done is I've drilled the whole way around. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go on the outside and mark the outside of the window that's going to be cut with a jigsaw blade. So I got a brand new jigsaw blade. I'm hoping it's the right one, and it's I got a really fine one, so I'm hoping that will do the job. So I've got all the side of the van marked out, and now what I'm going to do is change the jigsaw blades to these fine metal jigsaw Stanley blades. What are you doing? Happy, what are you doing, Happy? Happy, what are you doing? Hey, say, what are you doing? You trying to escape? Happy's waving at me. Hey. 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 I've got over 50% of it cut and it's starting to flap. So a good thing to do is to put some duct tape around the edges, and that'll stop it from flapping. It's going to make it easier to cut it, because as soon as sheet metal starts to flap, then your jigsaw blade starts to rattle and you can't get a clean cut. I have this file here, and I'm hoping that will do the trick. It's make sure when you buy a file that it's called a bastard file, which means it's a coarse file for cutting, and that is it just means you can get down the sheet metal faster, and then once you've used that you can use this one, which is the second cut. But I've actually got it really close. This was the outside sheet that I cut, and the trick was to keep it in line with this one on the inside. So if you can see, it's a pretty clean cut, maybe one or two little bumps along the way, but overall I'm really happy with that. I'm going to go over it with this file it down, smooth it out, and then I'm going to get the primer and then rub all the edges to make sure that there's no, or before that I'll hoover out the metal shavings that were cut off and that have fallen in between, and give it a quick wipe. And on the inside, if they get on the body, they will actually rust, and you'll get rust spots all over the paintwork. Okay, next I'm going to paint on the Hammerite. I'm going to paint all the exposed edges to prevent any future rust. So I just covered it up with a piece of cardboard on the outside, and with the panel that I took off, I just put it back in place. I was lucky enough not to get any leaks because it was sealed up really well. I had this panel and I had the cardboard panel on the outside, so that worked. And now we're just going to take it off. What I'm going to do next is cover some spots that I missed last night because it started to rain. The next step is we're going to place the window up against the hole. I've got my great helper here beside me, and I'm going to place it up against it. She's going to keep her two hands against the window, and then from the inside I'm going to use a pencil and stencil around the inside of this hole. Then when I'm priming the window, I'm going to keep to the outside of the pencil lines. The next step is to clean the glass with some glass primer cleaner. When the window's stuck in place, I want 2 packers for the bottom of the window. So what I'm going to do is I have this plastic container and I'm just going to cut these packers for underneath the window so I can actually get an equal space around the window, because at the moment when you place the window in, it just falls and it rests on a ledge, on a lip on the edge of the van. So I can place these 2 packers underneath the base of the window and then use a bit of tape to make sure that you're going to hold it in place while these packers are underneath the window. So now I'm going to apply the primer to the window and also to the van, and this is a primer that came with the actual window, and I'm going to use this to apply it. I have the primer on the window and I now have the primer on the van, so I'm just going to give that a bit of time to dry and get some duct tape, stick the duct tape up there. I'm going to put the sealant on here first, then place the window up against it and then use the duct tape to secure in the window and put in the packers underneath the window, so I'll lift it up slightly so I'll have a small little gap under here. They're the steps. Let's hope it goes okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to round the edges of it, pressing the bond against the surface of the van. So the idea is to release any air bubbles or any pockets of air that are getting caught, and make sure you're going to have an even seal the whole way around, because if you leave any pockets of air or any gaps in the bond, that's going to be where you'll get leaks and you'll get water coming in. The final step for this window install is to put on this trim along the inside of the window. So it's going to go all along the inside, because what you have is you actually have 2 bits of metal. So there's one that this trim will go on, and then the outside one is what the actual window is glued onto. So it's just the inside one that you actually want to stick this onto, because the outside one obviously has the window on it. So what you're going to do is you just place it in the middle, starting here, and what you do is you put it on, and then with your thumbs you just pop it in, making sure that it's pressed down the whole way around. So that completes the installation of the window, and I hope you found it useful. If you want to follow along with the van build series, please subscribe to my channel. You can also hit the notifications button and you'll be notified for future videos in this van build series. The next video is the installation of the roof vent. If you want to know how to install a roof vent, I'll see you in that one. Thank you very much.